It is going live. We are going live on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, all over the place. We are on.
Terrific. Go ahead and you can introduce the call.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us here on the Zoom call or our friends on social media. This is the BeatCancer.Org Ask a Holistic Cancer Coach weekly call. Today's date is October the 3rd of 2024. As a reminder, nothing that is stated in these calls is intended to be taken as explicit medical advice. Our staff and our team of cancer coaches that can be in attendance today are here to simply point anyone to interesting bits of educational information for the appropriate discussion of and consideration of. Uh, yeah, and so we are going to go ahead and kick it off. However, Carl would like to kick it off.
Well, I'd like to just say real quick that our hearts and our prayers go out to all the people of South Appalachia. We have at least one cancer coach that was greatly affected by a storm, and it's just a horrific, horrific deal, and so sad for these people. There are a lot of these towns were mountainous towns, and they didn't have flood insurance because they were way out of the flood zone. So they were just completely devastated, lost their houses, and have no way of recouping it through insurance. And all we can do is pray. That's the best we can do. And if you're local, you can help out, give a hand if they'll let you.
If they'll let you, being the
Yeah,
key
that's the
there.
big thing. FEMA seems to be holding back regular people that want to help, and but people are out there, they're helping anyway. They're actually packing up mules and delivering insulin and way up into the mountains, and it's the rekindlement of the American spirit, the drive of just normal people helping normal people. Um, it's encouraging to see that, even with all the failures of the government. But
Yeah, I'll leave it as chill as Carl would like to keep it tonight, but
yeah, yeah,
it's
that's that's
fascinating things happening. I hear there's some very mineable resources in those
yeah,
areas that
yeah,
people's
yeah.
homes are in the way
That's
of.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
talk about that and weather modification and all that stuff. But regardless of that, there's people that died and are in serious trouble right now, not getting, they haven't had electricity for 7 days or so, and food and water and basic necessities. And they're stuck out there in areas that are very, very difficult to get to. So we pray for them and and hope that these great American heroes, we're just happy that they're there and can help in any way they can. So that's where we'll leave it because we could go way down rabbit holes and get into all that. I just want to keep it as we're praying for them. We're praying for all those families
Yeah,
and
I've
all
actually
people that were
been
lost.
boxing up things and I don't know where to send it exactly, but I don't know if that helps, but I'm always um
There's some
people.
churches that there's some church groups and Christian groups that would be good to send it to because FEMA can't confiscate it. So and they're getting in. So I'll see what I can find for you.
Okay, because I have some things already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's some you know some groups that are actually disobeying the no-fly zone and actually flying in their own personal helicopters and trying to help. So that's all that. We are on a cancer call, so this is Beat Cancer. And if you have any questions, please pipe up or put it into the chat. And we can't give you specific medical advice, but we can give you the general. direction. And if you want to talk more about it, you can get in touch with maybe the coach that answered the question, or get in touch with us at the center, and we'll put you in touch with our in-house naturopathic doctor who's been counseling for us for over 25 years. However you want to do it is fine with us, just as long.
Awesome. So we could, of course, start right with our guests on the Zoom. And if any of our guests on the social media platforms would like to chime in, of course, please do put your question or comment in the chat on whatever website you're listening on, and I'll be sure that we get to it as promptly as possible. But yeah, I'd like to begin with anyone that's on the Zoom right here. You're welcome to unmute yourself or come on camera if you're comfortable doing so and share. You could even share what has brought you here today and where you found BeatCancer.org.
Well, I'm happy that I have found BeatCancer.org. I mean, and I have to say I did the course and I still wasn't connected because my life was so busy, and we all have that going on. I hate that word BUSY. I hate the word BUSY. But I started prioritizing helping people with their health, and certainly BeatCancer.org. We need to get the word out for other people to just educate themselves, and they can be an advocate for themselves or someone else, and make a difference in someone's life. So um, I thank you for that, and I'm glad I'm in with you all.
We're glad you're here too.
And I always learn something when I'm on the call, and I like the sharing.
Love
Well,
it.
that's,
Love it.
that's what it's all about. It's all about, you know, spreading the message. This is a message of hope. And people don't have to be victims in the process when they get diagnosed with cancer. They can be active participants.
And something can be done about it. I absolutely believe in positive thinking and nutrition and cancer prevention. And there's a lot you can do that many people, as soon as they hear that word, I think they react too quickly, where you, of course, anyone would.
Yeah, shock.
And I think I mentioned it on the call the other day. I really believe if you are diagnosed with cancer, you should definitely get a second and a third opinion, because I know for sure there's a lot of diagnoses that were not what they said they were. So,
Yeah,
uh, and it's terrible when people do get cancer, but I honestly believe that it can be reversed. I really do. There's a lot we can do and what we've learned. So, uh, anyway.
yeah. No, it's true. I mean, the third leading cause of death is uh, medical misdiagnosis and misprescription.
Prescriptions, yes,
It's a third leading cause. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
it is. And I was one of those people, again, that just followed everything my doctor said. And I am telling you, I almost died from doing all the medications, the vaccinations, medications, steroids, antibiotics. You take an antibiotic and your gut biome, it's destroyed for a year to 2 years. And I'm just so thankful that I have discovered BeatCancer.org.
Good
And
health.
then I started just researching and learning and learning and learning and being with scientists and biochemists, and we're all just share information. I go on one call that, oh my gosh, I learned so much. It's like going back to college. It's wonderful, and when people want to share. So some people don't, but I think it's the best thing.
Absolutely. And that's really what makes the world go round. And I love the decentralization of education that we're experiencing today, in that people understand that there's a lot of wonderful people with wonderful things to say, or at least wonderful things to take into consideration. to expose ourselves to different perspectives, to different facts, to different statistics, to different modalities of this, that, or whatever. And I really think that's what makes the world go round. Just more conversation. Even if you don't agree with what someone's saying, or if you agree with certain things and don't agree with others that they say, that doesn't mean that it's not beneficial to maintain an open mind and at least explore the thoughts and the perspectives of people and organizations and entities. And there's really always something to learn. So it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought up positive thinking too, Bobby, because people don't give that as much credit as it deserves. So I'm going to just take it and put it on the opposite spin, the negative thinking. Um, Despair, from our experience, Susan's experience over 35 years in the field, she said despair was one of the top reasons of why people die. They just got it in their mind from their prognosis, not their diagnosis, but their prognosis that they would die in 6 months, and and they allowed that to happen. It happened in 6 months. I mean, like I say many times, doctors are good, but they're not psychic. They can't guess it right on the money, but people die right on the money, right? So it's really kind of planting a negative seed or a
Mhm.
placebo in reverse. And some people just they go into such despair they give up. They don't uh, do, have the mindset that I'm going to survive. And the people that do, oftentimes they do. Oftentimes they even people we've even seen people live with their cancer to ripe old ages and die of old age. They didn't die of the cancer.
Of
They
course.
just, they just managed it just like heart issues or diabetes. They just lived with it and adopted a healthy lifestyle and lived a pretty good life. In fact, more healthy than before they got diagnosed.
Because they changed. What surprises me is I know people that are healthy and they're older, and they'll say, I probably won't live to be another 10 years. That is their mindset.
Right.
And I'm like, and these are people that are healthy. And they say, well, I don't think. And the goal is for the last third of your life, and I absolutely know this can be achieved for most people, but the last third of your life should be quality. You shouldn't have to be on morphine and suffering. And unfortunately, most people, the last 10, 15, 20 years of their life, it's miserable. And it doesn't have to be. It really can be changed. And your body is always rejuvenating, renewing. It can be done. And so just got to fight and believe and positive thinking. And by the way, we start our show off with positive thinking because I
Oh,
think it's so important.
it
Yeah,
is.
oh, absolutely. And that's why our very first education course module is also in the power of mindset and setting the mental stage and the mental foundation and the framework for all healing to take place. Because it really doesn't matter what modality, no matter how powerful you throw at a body to try and fix things, if your mind is not on your side and your mind is dismantling your efforts and your mind is very much, closed off to healing, well, it's going to be a lot more difficult for the body to actually heal. It's absolutely number one. Everything else in the world that we experience ends up going through the lens and the filter of our perspective and of our mindset. So, yeah, not much can happen without that in a healthy state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's Maya? I thought
She's
she was here.
on. She might be
Oh,
eating something.
I
Yeah, for
wanted to see her.
during dinner time in Texas.
Oh,
Yeah, but from a more scientific level, maybe Maya, when she gets on, she can elaborate on this. But when people are in a mindset of despair or fear, they're creating uh, cortisol, and
exactly.
and You're either, I said it right.
You did that. Yeah, you did. That's what the smile
I'll
was
look it up
fake.
and make sure I had the spelling correct. So I'll say, because I always say corset tall or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. So
Cortisol.
anyway, uh, but that when that hormone is going on, or you're in that fight or flight um, pattern of thought, and this happens when you're aggravated in traffic or you're dreading going to work. We're like people daily go through this drip,
It
right?
aggravates them.
And it actually literally stops the healing process. So you're either in a state of healing or you're in a state of not healing. So I'll
Yeah.
let Maya do the more scientific talk about it, because I am just an administrator. I am not a coach.
I can
Yeah.
say one thing. I can say one thing that my husband quotes all the time. You know, we all have disasters, little disasters that happen. You got a flat tire, you know, it's just all the different things that happen in life, little things. And my husband has a saying, that should be the worst thing that happens today.
Yep.
You think of all, and it can be even a, some bad things, but there's worse out there. That should be the worst thing. There's so many terrible things, like what's happening with the weather out,
Yeah,
North
right.
Carolina,
Carolina.
oh my
But
gosh. So that when you think that way, it totally calms you down and really helps your body be healthy also when you can control that, not to get upset about little things or
Yeah.
medium things or even some bad things, because there's always something worse.
That's huge. That's a very
it's
important
one of
point,
my
Bobby,
favorites.
that I really want to elaborate on. And that's a great sign call. And it's a very interesting point because I think something that gets lost a lot of the time is that it's healthy to focus on what's going on in our lives. And our lives, each and every one of us, really ultimately have to be the center of our own worlds, because the unfortunate reality is that in the time that we're having this conversation and that I'm even saying what I'm saying right now, there's been a lot of unfathomable, very bad things that have happened in the world right now,
Right.
somewhere. I'm not even going to name off the bad things that happen. There's so many atrocious things that happen, and that's true. And that's a lot of people's reality right now. But we can't really process all of the world's issues as one person and expect to not be anxious and be full of anxiety and stress. You know what I'm saying? This is a very modern phenomena that we even have the opportunity to know what's going on, good or bad, beyond our four walls and beyond our family and beyond our community. And I do not believe humans are actually equipped with the software to be able to healthily process having a 24/7 feed on our devices of all of the atrocities of the world. And it's people have been led to feel that it's a necessity to keep up to date with all of the craziness on every single side of the world. However, ultimately, a lot
This
of
is
it,
delicious.
though interesting to keep in
This is
mind,
delicious.
and it can help you navigate the world a bit,
Hmm.
it doesn't ultimately always make a difference to that individual. And that particular individual in question very well might live a better, healthier, and more prosperous and productive life if they focused on what's in their circle of influence at any given point. And it's a very interesting philosophical discussion, especially with the way modern society has been so connected. But it's a very interesting thing to keep in mind on what is even natural in how we know about the world.
I agree 100%. I sometimes wonder, do I digest too much and put too much into my brain? But we'll rein it into cancer. I mean, Maya has a great. She's talked about this before. We'll let her talk about it again. Her whole idea was I'm putting everything out of my mind except for healing and what I want in my mind, and we can let her talk about her own story. I know we have a guest or two on, and I think mindset was always Maya's big strong point. Besides all our other strong points, being scientific and being able to recall every detail of everything. I don't know.
Yes, she's amazing.
Are you on?
Yeah, I'm on. Oh, should I take it from here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Put that, Maya.
Okay. Yeah, mindset is a big thing. When we don't think how does it affect our body overall, in terms of releasing so many enzymes or substances, chemicals that our mind can trigger so many conditions, could trigger anxiety, depression, just because of our own thoughts. Um, just simple thing like when we think of a lemon or something, we start will activate our salivary glands just by thinking about it. Our mouths filled up with a right with
I just
saliva,
started.
right? So
You're right,
just
Maya.
like a simple thing like that, we don't even think about it, like how much. Or by thinking something scary, we suddenly realize like we're getting this like butterflies in our stomach, like just by thinking something scary. So, and the same thing when it comes to positive and negative mindset, we don't realize how much they affect our hormones, or they affect our you know, genes. Even if we keep pushing, thinking negatively, we always put our body in that flight stage and plus negative vibration. So this is so important to know about it. Um, it's just like when you start thinking about, when I would think about body and more in depth, I did the research and kind of, you know, start seeing a cancer cell with my eyes, like learning about cancer cell, and just like in the back of my mind, when you in the back of your eyes, when you don't see it with your eyes, but inside your brain, you see this cancer cell, and you mentally breaking down that cancer cell, just breaking into pieces because you see the way it looks, and then you breaking down and forming a normal cell in the spot where the cancer grows. You are doing such a big uh, flip inside your body that your body is capable of doing something like that. And like, you know, believe it or not, it is so powerful. So, and I would think of it like it broken down, and then I would go take a shower, and I would think of the water is flashing everything out of my body. So, and then the clean water is giving me a light of energy. I would pretend that I'm standing under the light of energy, and it's just giving me all this energy to rebuild my body. It's all comes to a mindset, to the way you think. So you have to be persistent with it. You always have to be, it's very hard because the negativity, we're surrounded by very high percentage of negativity around us, and it's very hard to stay positive. But this is something is part of our lives. We have to work on it. We have to make ourselves think positive, and we have to just keep doing that every single, basically, I would say, minute of our lives. Like every time when we think negative, we have to ask ourselves a question: why are we thinking negative? Is there a reason for me at the present moment to think negative? Even though if the body has cancer, that doesn't mean it's killing you at the present moment. It's not killing you at the present moment. So you have to um, think about it, that is giving you a chance to survive. So, and just flip that around and working more positively on your mindset and helping your body. And once your mindset on a positive note, suddenly you feel this light in your body, and you feel kind of it's like a weight lifts off of your shoulder. Like you feel more light, you feel more alive, and you kind of become more motivated. You push yourself hard, and you start doing the stuff because you start trusting yourself and your body. So that's what I could add to that conversation. I could add more, but
I would suspect that as a coach, when you're working with clients, that their mindset has a lot to do with um, the level of compliance that
Yeah.
they have to stick with the program.
Yeah.
I imagine that's
Yeah. I always tell my clients, you were told something, and that's what someone told you. Is that what do you really want? The question is, what do you want yourself? That is a question. How do you want to approach your condition? That is a question. It's not someone else is telling you, let's do this and that and that. I had I had a client who asked me to join telecom with their doctor a few days ago. And I did join, and I was just listening what the doctor was saying, and doctor were pushing on maintenance treatment, which is the same treatment that the patient got about 3 months ago, and didn't do anything for a patient, didn't do much, did not improve the condition and did not worsen the condition. So the doctor said, since it did not improve the condition, 3 months passed, we're gonna do a maintenance. So my question was for a doctor is like, not, I didn't ask the question because I didn't want to interfere between doctor and patient. But I told the patient, like, the next time when you see your doctor, ask the question, if the treatment did not do anything 3 months ago, if it didn't work and you've been under her care for 4 years now, what does it make her think that it's gonna work? This maintenance treatment, the treatment is gonna work. And what does she have on her hand to prove to you that there's going to be some improvement at this point? Instead of blindly saying, yes, okay, I agree, I'll go with treatment. This is a blind state, blindly going and just following what they were told. It's all about like asking questions, constant questions, because people don't know what to ask. That is a big problem in our society. When we go to the doctor, um, we go for help and we think that we're going to get like tremendous help from them. But then a lot of people get very disappointed nowadays, more and more, and they have no idea what else to do and how ask questions. So asking questions is very important because as a client, as a patient, you have a right to know everything what you're putting in your body, everything what's going to be, how is it going to work on your body? What's the outcome is going to be? What's the quality of life you're going to have by taking those treatments? Every question. And what surprised me, I mean, it didn't surprise me. I mean, the doctors always say that she was saying that she knows in 6 months, his condition is going to worsen. She knows in 12 months, he would have to go through different treatment. And my question is, how does she know?
Yep.
How does she know? Yeah.
Absolutely. We've got a couple
Right.
comments on socials. Thank you guys for participating. And I just want to get to them. We had Jose Fernandez, longtime friend of the organization, saying it's good to see us. Good to see you as well.
Jose.
And he's been, on his own health journey and being a warrior there himself, but he's not giving up. Love to hear it. That's exactly what it takes. And he's still on board as a cancer coach. Absolutely love to hear from you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. You're welcome to join us on the Zoom at any time if you feel so called. Otherwise, please do also feel free to keep chiming in the chat. I know you have a lot of good things to say and a lot of fascinating experience to share. Others might be facing similar things to yourself, so very much please don't hesitate to participate. We've also had on Instagram our friend saying the username is need help on this PCOS journey. Very fascinating name right there. But they said couldn't agree more. Just wish it motivated me to do the work. And that's a fascinating thing that I want to discuss a bit because motivation is a very fascinating thing. And what's important to remember ultimately is that motivation is at its purest an internal thing. There's not really an external factor or source of motivation. There's external inspiration, but motivation really and truly only comes from within. And what it is as a mechanism is a factor of values. When we value something very strongly, when we value an end goal or an end result very strongly, well, then suddenly it's not that hard to stay motivated because you really, really value getting that thing done. And that doesn't mean things are always easy, quite the opposite. But I like to advise people to live their life in a frame of value propositions and just weighing every moment of, what do I do? What goals would I like to accomplish in life? And how could I take a step right now, even if it's a baby step, towards that goal? And I like to, as an individual myself, just always be progressing towards something. This goal, this goal. And, when you look at it like that, and you could break things down into small steps, suddenly that motivation, even though that might be fleeting, and you might not feel the most excited and motivated and emotionally hype about something at all times, if you just keep in mind, I have to just keep taking steps, even small steps, well, then eventually you get to your destination. Um, I don't know. That's how I like to live. Hopefully that's helpful
No,
if you're still with us
that
on
was great.
Instagram.
That was great. I mean, look, like you said, it's values. So maybe it's love that you're valuing and you're going after that. So, or in this case, it would be health. Sometimes it's anger. I mean, for some people, but they value. But let's just say in this case, it's health. Uh, I think it's important that you journal, right? So if you got a goal and you know what you have to do to get to that end goal, you journal every day, and then you can go back and you can say, oh, am I moving towards it or am I not moving towards it? You can really keep an eye on it because you tend to forget what you did a week ago. But if it's down on paper or in a computer someplace, like I have a digital journal, um, which I look back on, I'm like, oh, I'm not working out enough. I knew I wasn't working out enough because it's not in my journal, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So it keeps me on track. So it so that and that way I can not rely on feeling motivated, but having that goal in my face and realizing I'm not really working towards it. So I better get my butt moving.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah,
Absolutely.
journaling is crucial, I think, in the healing journey.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hope our friend is still with us on Instagram. If not, I hope someone got some value from that. And
Yeah.
I'll provide an interesting perspective too, because I think journaling is also one of those things that gets very like very glamorized, and it's just not something I've personally ever resonated with. And I've just accepted that that's okay, and learned other ways to be productive. So if that doesn't resonate with anyone and anyone tries it out, which I encourage people to try it out, but that doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you. I mean, unless
Right.
there is something wrong with me, I don't know, maybe.
No, like
No, no.
journaling doesn't have to be
Yeah.
it doesn't have to
No.
be complex or long-winded. You don't have to like if you don't feel like writing your feelings down or all that stuff. I just write in like it's almost like a calendar in a way. Or like if I went out on a long motorcycle ride with my son, I'll say, I'll say, I went on we did this many miles and we stopped at this ice cream shop or whatever we did. And that's it. It's just a little short thing so that when I go back and look upon the year, I could say, oh yeah, we did a lot
Yeah.
of mountain bike rides and we got some ski days in and and worked out
Yeah.
on a regular basis or whatever it is. So it's more or less just keeping note of special things maybe for me.
Mhm.
I don't keep track of everything I eat. I don't have to because I eat whatever's fresh in my garden mostly.
Yeah. Everyone is different. Everyone does their own way as long as they do it. This is not like, for example, I'm not the person who would sit down and meditate for an hour or 2 hours with closed eyes and like listen to meditation music. But that doesn't mean I don't meditate. You know, I walk, for example, in nature, and I love just like observing around. That's one of the things. That's my way of meditating. I love. I mean, I can turn on the music and start dancing, and it's just like, you know, that's my way of meditating, because this is like, and I feel at the moment like, you know, how I get distracted my minds. I just listen to the music and I just go in tune, and you know, it doesn't really matter the way people does it as long as they're do it. And about saying, I have like a kind of homework for my clients. I tell them to write three main things what they want to achieve, like by our, for example, by end of our sessions, our coaching sessions, which I usually coach people for 4 months at the time. So, or what, how they want to see themselves in 6 months from now. Three things that, you know, I ask them to write it, and I just read them out loud to themselves 3 times a day. That's all I ask them. A reminder to themselves where they want to be in about 6 months from now. And when they keep reading that, or they can print it out and put it right in front of on the fridge or anywhere where they can see it many times throughout the day. It's a reminder for them where they want to see themselves in 6 months. And that is kind of another way of motivation, you know, and what they're grateful for in their lives, what there are, you know, forgiveness, what are they forgiving? That's another way of healing. You know, people cannot heal internally if they have some kind of internal pain. You know, that's another thing, that internal pain slows down people. And believe it or not, is a lot of people having a hard time to let go certain part of their lives so easily. And it's good to work with someone at that point, because that holding up onto the pain or to the condition or to the situation, it's damaging self. It's damaging the self. So no, letting go and being grateful for learning how to let go. Those are the things that we have to deal with, because cancer is not only about like getting right supplements or getting right treatment. No, it's or going on the right diet. Emotional part of it is as big as the dietary part of it.
It's everything.
Yes, it's
body,
everything.
spirit.
Yes, it's everything.
Yeah, it's interesting you were bringing up, you know, if people are harboring resentment or whatever it is that they're holding on to, grief,
Great.
you
Yeah.
know, all these things, they need that emotional release somehow. And also, too, you mentioned that you can't sit down and meditate for hours or whatever. I'm the same way, but I find that through activity, either exercise, boxing, or mountain biking or whatever, skiing,
Yeah.
things where I have to really super focus,
Focus.
or I'll get,
Right.
you know, but that's not what's
Yeah.
in my mind when I'm doing it.
Yes.
My
Yeah.
mind all
Yeah.
on executing the next move,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But that's when I tend to hit my zen.
Yes.
Nothing
That's
else is
yeah.
going on at that
Yeah.
moment. I'm not thinking about
Exactly.
tomorrow. I'm not thinking about yesterday. I'm not thinking about 10
Mhm.
minutes from now. I'm thinking about
Right. Right.
getting
Right.
over that boulder or whatever it is I'm doing.
Yeah, that's a moment when your body is like releasing all this positive vibration, positive
Awesome.
energy, and they come like a boomerang. They come back to you. You know, more we stay in a negative way, the more boomerang would come back, you know, to us. More we switch ourselves, like, you know, um, to a positive mode. It's like imagining going into the dark room and switching the light bulb, and you're getting all this like colors, all the stuff, like, you know, and you see this like, and it's like great pictures. And that's how like you feel, kind of like I feel that way when I just try to switch myself like that. And I love listening to nice music and like sometimes dancing, even sitting dancing. that's another thing also, like as long as you're in that stage of feeling good, it's
Yes.
important, right?
You know, yes, music, speaking of music, that is one of the most healing things that if you put on music, turn off the news. Okay, it's okay to peak. Turn off the negativity. Turn off, don't be around people that are negative or that you just gotta get away from all that. And I know when I have a lot to do, I'll put that music on. I start zooming my chores. I do them quickly,
Yeah,
faster and I'm enjoying myself and it's happy. I go out in my garden, I put the music on. That is healing. It really is. And as far as motivation, you guys, I was thinking of something. Have you ever been standing in a line? I mean, a really long line, could be a line for voting. Okay. So you're in this long line and you're at the end of the line and you go, oh my God, we're at the end of the line. And then other people start joining and you start moving up and you look back and you go, oh, I used to be there, but
yeah,
now I'm here. And the
yeah,
same thing happens when you achieve things. And if
yeah,
you could just keep working like that up the line, you will achieve. And I mean, I've just studied this. I didn't realize, but from a very early age. eh, Um, it started with oh, we had musical chairs and I was the 20th, within the competition and everyone was way ahead of me and there might have been 30 of us and then I made it to the eighth and then the second and then the first and then but it makes you feel good and that helps heal too. When you start achieving, I don't care what it is, it could be just sitting down and doing art.
yeah,
Or, playing with a child, getting a child to do something, teach them anything that is positive is going to make you feel better and make you healthier.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a weird stuff when I was going through. I mean, like overall, like I would sit down and look at the wall, and I'm like, oh, I don't like the color on the wall. So I would run to Home Depot, get the color, come back, and then I would just move the furniture to the front, and I would just start painting the wall. It would take me a couple of hours. I would paint the wall, move the furniture back, and I would sit down. Okay, now I like the color. It's and the
Yeah.
color is another thing, by the way, that brings people mood up.
Mhm.
You don't want to be in the dark colors, you want to be surrounded by vibrant colors, and
Absolutely.
even clothing wise, you want to wear like bright clothes, you want to light clothes that makes you feel good. They attract positive energy, they
Absolutely.
attract, right? Yeah,
And even like beyond the colors themselves, which absolutely have a key role that they play in our ambiance and vibe, etc.
yeah,
Even just making a change, especially when we are in an internal state of unwellness, making an external change absolutely plays a part in changing that internal state that is unfavorable
right.
because it's all, when we're in the same rut of life in all regards, then our, internal self kind of goes hand in hand with that. And that's why a lot of people experience, large transformations when they, mostly it happens when people entirely move cities or like move to a different house or, some grand external change happens. But that doesn't mean that you can't recreate that within your same house or same physical
Hmm.
environment by
Yeah,
changing things up to
right.
a large degree.
Yeah.
Changes makes you feel like you kind of ending up in a new environment, and that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
For the better.
yeah, that's what I would do, like changing window, like a drapery, or changing the wall color. Like it wasn't a big thing for me, like in terms of like, some people when they try to paint the wall, they get plan and advance, they do the things, and for me it was like one, two, three, it's done. My husband would come from work, he would come like, what is that, when did you do that?
Yeah.
It's like the wall painted.
I feel
Like
like people overthink things, You just
yes, they do. They
get
do.
the
Yeah.
paint, put it on the wall. Now the paint is blue. Like,
Right. That's it. I wouldn't like it in a couple of months. I would change it to another color. I have my living room wall was constantly like something new. I would change it all the time. Why am I saying this? Because that changes does make us feel like we're a new environment. You're kind of going into something more positive. I would change the pictures on the wall sometimes, often. I cannot live in the same environment like for many years or keep like the things I have to move the furniture around, I have to change the position, I constantly have to change that. That's me though. That's what it worked for me, and that what it works for me still. Like, I'm always like changing. um Maybe this is me finding myself, finding my vibration, finding my positive energy spot. So for everyone is different. Some people like painting, some people like drawing, some people like sculpturing or whatever, or playing piano or music. Like my favorite is like when I listen to Vivaldi, Four Seasons. I like in my brain, I just see those four seasons every time when I listen to it. I love it. So some other people might not like it,
Yeah,
whatever
and
I
just
was
even
talking
the
about achievements, and I want to quickly note that those are some of the things that you should throw into your journal, even if they're just small achievements, because that
yeah,
feel of successfully doing something or whatever, achieving something, that's what you got to hold on to that's the actual motivation to
yeah,
you're like, okay, I did that, I can do the next thing, right?
yeah,
Doesn't have to
yes.
be big, keep.
It's a plan. Your life is moving on, and you're moving with your life, like in that term. We're like particular us females. We are like, I feel like we're continuation of life. We bring a new life to this world, and we're a continuation of life. We have so much within us in terms of um a little higher vibration and connection to the universe. Females are more in there than the males. Sorry, no offense to any of you guys, but
Okay, it'll be
yeah,
toxic.
yeah, but that we're capable. Our bodies are capable of doing such a great things. Like we have to connect with our mind. Once you connect, that magic does happen. Yeah.
all right.
That's it.
We have
Yeah.
just a few minutes here, but I mean that we might just leave it at that. That was a great,
It
great,
is.
great thing right there.
I'm good with that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the next 4 minutes of your life that everyone has just gotten back. I do hope that you've enjoyed the call, those that did join us. Thank you for your participation for our Zoom attendees, but also for our friends on the social media platforms. As a reminder, if next week you would like to join us on the actual call, you can find us by going to BeatCancer.org and clicking on the weekly call button right at the top. And this is entirely free to join, no commitment necessary. You can be anonymous if you like, or hop on camera, whatever you prefer. We are here to deliver education and conversation, community, maybe make a friend, who knows. And yeah, we welcome all people. So please do spread the
Yeah.
word. It helps us help more people. And we will see you next week.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.